Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about The Boys Presents Diabolical season finale. A great season finale. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. I was surprised it kind of served as a prequel. Once again, I think it's interesting how some of these episodes can be seen as, even in their, craziness of what they are, I feel like they still could fit within the canon of the show. Some I feel like they could more so than others, but, I think some of the elements from some of these episodes, just some of the themes in the, like episode 2, what that represents could still fit within the mold of The Boys, even if those exact events didn't happen. But nevertheless, it was interesting seeing this being the rollout of Homelander, and I like that. Obviously, he's been unhinged, probably more so than any other superhero, being the fact is that his situation being what it is, him having been experimented on as a kid. Obviously, we got hints of that in the main show, but to kind of see it, to see what he was put through, them burning him just to see how much he could take, putting he's a kid going up against full-grown superpowered people. So it also makes sense why he pushed Ryan the way he did. Let me push you off the roof to make you fly. It's it's fine, and he seems so, because it's his own way of dealing with what he went through. He was abused to forge him into what he is, but obviously he's put on stage, and he's making all this reference to why did I decide to become a hero, and he talks about wanting to hit a home run in at the baseball stadium and stuff. And then Black Noir is who he got paired up with, and Black Noir kind of steals the spotlight from it, and you see that twitching him no, how this is supposed to be my moment to shine, and you kind of took it from me, which I thought was interesting, because him and Black Noir aren't necessarily good. I mean, they're not necessarily besties, but they, at least in the main show, they've always seemed to be on good enough terms. Black Noir's the only one amongst the 7 that I'd say currently Homelander doesn't have an issue with, because literally everyone else has betrayed him in some shape or form, and he's just not good with them. Because this is supposed to, the 7 isn't really the 7. It's it's me and these other 6 is what that really comes down to. So obviously Madeline right now is already inflating that ego of his. No, Black Noir shouldn't have brought Black Noir up there. It's all those people, they want to be with you, they want to fuck you. It's that felt good, didn't it? And he's yeah. So she was already twisting that little mind of his, and we see kind of where the relationship between them kind of started. So he's yeah, but Black Noir's just there to teach me something. It's Black Noir's there to keep an eye on you, because the moment you fuck up, he's meant to kind of take you out. Interesting. And so when the opportunity arises for him to save people when this group decides to take a plant or whatever that's leaking stuff that's causing people getting sick and deformities and stuff like that, he decides to step in, and it is that complicated thing of this is his first time out fully as a superhero, so he took that lady out and then wrapped the thing around her. She's I can't breathe. He's oh, you'll be fine. She's no, you wrapped metal pipes around my chest. The other dude ran into him full force and broke his nose, and he's well, you broke the law first, trying to lean into the Boy Scout angle of it. They even talked about it. It's right, there's never been a hero like this since Soulja Boy. Obviously perfect timing, because obviously this came up before. Obviously, well, and once again, I'm getting to it so late, but obviously season 3 is right around the corner, so that's what makes me wonder how much of this will they try to, not try, but will they canonize any of this, or just be seen as they're kind of what if things. But once again, some of this feels it could still fit within the canon, especially this episode. But yeah, he tries to save people. He's saying all the right things. Non-violence, we don't need to do that. He doesn't kill them. He takes their guns, and it's and the guy's this guns can still explode, so you need to back away. And Homelander makes the mistake of heating up the gun explodes, blows the bad guy's hand off, kills the hostage by blowing off half his face, and Homelander's flipping out. He's no, this wasn't what was meant to be. No, thanks. And they're calling him a monster and everything, and he's getting so upset. He's no, this is your fault. You're the bad guys. I'm the hero, and he screwed up so much. He's especially because it's right, this is my one shot. Everything I've been through was leading me to this, and for me to mess up this badly, and so he ends up ripping the jaw off the next hostage, and they're calling him monster and everything. And in that moment, he snaps and pretty much kills everyone except for one hostage, because once he sees red, he sees red. He's like, no, I was trying to be the good guy here. It was their fault. Black Noir's nearby, and that sets off a fight between them, but Black Noir's just defending himself. You can even tell partway through the fight, he's waving his hands like, no, it's okay, I'm on your side. But, the plant ends up exploding. I don't know if that was Black Noir's plan the entire time, was to kind of fit that story, to create that narrative in the middle of it. He's like, right, I'm going to let things kind of blow up, and then I'm going to come here and tell you, like, yo, I'm on your side, by killing the final hostage. Like, I figured from the beginning he was going to be on Homelander's side, and then they craft the story of, hey, the plant, I tried to go in there, but, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I was like, would that necessarily fit the narrative? I mean, I guess it's like, right, it's an explosion. Maybe someone's blood exploded on you, but it's like, you're covered in people's blood. Maybe he can justify it, but like, oh, it's the bad guy's blood, or maybe it's like when the bomb went off, or when the explosion went off, I ended up getting covered in all this blood. I'm just like, you're covered from the toe in blood. It's like super stuck into your hair, even to the point like you wiped it so it's even deeper in your hair. So it very much reminds me how Homelander looked at the end of season 2. Well, you know, after he had killed all those Vought people, after he was looking for Ryan, and just in that final sequence thing with Maeve blackmailing himself, like that look covered in blood, it very much was a remnant of that. And so despite everything kind of going wrong, once again, him presenting himself that way, like, oh, I'm sorry that things kind of went this way. I wonder, did Madeline ever know? She probably didn't know the truth. I think it's not until the second episode, when she was like, oh my God, you killed, like, you're not supposed to kill anyone, because he's supposed to be her pristine, like, boy. It's like, you know, you're supposed to be my Boy Scout. You're supposed to be the symbol of all that's good. You don't kill people. So she doesn't know that he did all this. She's like, well, you didn't save everyone, but everything worked out in the end. I'm gonna be clear. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought the group, that group, the bad guys in this, what is it, CLF or CFL? That group, I thought we were gonna find out they're actually actors paid by Vought. Like the way they were like, no, wait. Like it made it sound like, no, this wasn't supposed to happen. I guess it's just like, oh, you weren't supposed to come here and wreck shop. I was almost interpreting that as, oh, you kind of flew off script. Once again, this show's already recognized, like, oh, like everything's a set. I mean, to be fair, a lot has been conflated and manipulated, even in the main show, to fit the narrative that Homelander and other people and Edgar wants to create, you know? So there's that element to it. But yeah, like even Madeline, even the queen of spinning stuff, wasn't aware kind of what was going on. She never recognized Homelander to be the sociopath that he is, because even she was kind of like, oh my God, you released a supervillain? Oh, that's great. It's like, it's at that point, even then it was like, were you really happy about that, or were you just scared? Well, she even admits later on, it's like, yeah, she is scared of him. So it's like, right, there's very few people that can stop him in existence. So it's like, yeah. So that's understandable. So, but I like that. He's like, oh, Black Noir's not that bad. So that's why he's so copacetic with Black Noir, because he's like, no, Black Noir's cool. I know I can trust him. He's known for a while the sociopath that I am, which I even love that Madeline was calling Black Noir like the mute fucking psychopath or murderer or something like that. But then you see Black Noir nearby spinning, and it's like, okay, so he's doing what Edgar probably wanted him to. It's like, right, it's easier to keep an eye on you when you think I'm on your side, but I am here to keep an eye on you and watch you. And I guess maybe Edgar's probably never given him the, like, Stan's never giving him the word, like, all right, despite everything, I think Edgar's always been like, oh, you can have your tantrums, you can do this and that. I can't really take out, like, now that you've become the world's beloved hero, plus you're kind of an unstoppable monster, so we'll placate you, we'll keep you happy, you man baby, and then, you know, once again, you're not our most important asset. Essentially, don't ever forget you're not the most important thing to Vought. You might think you are, but you know. So I think that's just kind of interesting what that kind of sets up, or at least that's how I interpreted that ending, with just Black Noir just drinking his drink at the end like that. But like I said, maybe you can interpret that a different way. Either way, like I said, I thought just kind of a nice. I don't know what you call that animation style. Like, it kind of reminds me of the Boondocks a little bit. Like, that very specific animation style that's in this episode kind of reminds me of that. I don't know. That's what immediately came to my mind. But either way, kind of a nice, interesting way to end off the season. So once again, I'm still getting to this late because it's currently June 2nd at the time I'm recording these, and it's like 12 o'clock in the morning, just to specify, because these are going to end up going up. I'm recording at least this one now, and it's going to get up later today, but it still has not been renewed for a second season, but the people behind it have teased stuff subsequently. Once again, I'm getting to this like nearly 2 months later, but they have teased that if they do a second season of this, the episodes would be longer, which I think would be interesting to kind of expand upon things more. Just to kind of give these stories even more time to breathe and stuff like that. I wonder how much longer would they be? Would they go like Invincible length animated episodes, or would they just be like, no, we're more so pushing maybe about 5 or 10 more minutes, so anywhere between like 20 to 25 minutes. I was quickly scanning through some like stuff on Google, like different articles kind of talking about that a little bit. But yeah, I do hope we do get a second season. I'd be so curious to see the different animation styles, the different writers, the different stories that end up being told. You know, once again, like I said, some of this can be canon in certain regards and others don't have to be. I mean, it's an anthology series, and it can also kind of do whatever they want to with it. So I think that's a pretty neat thing to kind of make this be the boys' version of What If, essentially, which I guess it kind of is what it's supposed to be. But it's not even a what if, because it is just like an anthology thing set in its world, so you can do a lot of stuff. You can do some background stuff that maybe the show doesn't tackle, you know, take certain storylines that maybe exist in a comic book, like episode, was it 3? Like that one, once again, whether that's just written specifically for Diabolical, whether that was something more so pulled or elaborated on from the comic, you know, stuff like that, that you could do stories that maybe wouldn't fit within the confines of the canon of the show, but could fit within more so the canon of what the comic books have done, you know. So that's what my thought is on it. So I do hope we get a season 2, because I really enjoy this. Once again, I got sidetracked with other stuff, and I kept putting it off, especially because at the time I didn't know these episodes were so short. So I figured they weren't going to be long, because a lot of animated stuff typically isn't, but still. So like I said, fingers crossed, hoping we get a second season. I mean, who knows what other stories we could potentially get, like, post-season 3 of The Boys. Because there's also supposed to be, like, a spin-off show that's supposed to be set in a college, isn't it? I remember that was something they announced a while back. I don't know if they've really had any updates about it. I haven't heard anything about it. But yeah, really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.